Hello everybody, this is dosen't. Today we're going to be taking a look at Diablo 3 bugs. So I had this mental list for years in my head, and I figured now that BlizzCon is rolling out, Diablo is getting a lot of attention, I felt like this was the right time to make this video. This is something I've been thinking about for a long time. First of all, this is going to be a disclaimer part before we move on. If this is not relevant for you, if this bores you, getting information and disclaimers, etc., skip ahead. You don't need to watch it to understand what I'm going to be showing in the video. I just want to kind of set up the video now for a minute or maybe two. Anywho, let's move on here. Full on disclaimer. I use some of the bugs. A lot of people did. If you are getting triggered by a box, don't watch it. Just skip the video. That's fine. The video is mostly going to be covering early on in Diablo 3, so that is going to be from like patch, released to about patch 1.8, which was the last patch. I will also talk briefly about consoles and rework souls, but it's not really going to be the main focus. Those also had their share of problems, which I will get to. Mostly, I am also going to be focused on wizard bugs. I played the crap out of my wizard, and I still do only the wizard in Diablo 3. So I'm going to have a lot of focus on wizard, also because they had some of the worst bugs in Diablo 3, especially on launch. It was very bad on launch for wizard. I will cover stuff like auction house bugs. There were a lot of those. I will cover stuff like spawns that were easy to kill, etc. I will cover some really game breaking bugs that maybe wasn't really easy to replicate, but a lot of people kind of knew about them. I will cover again a lot of wizard bugs. Some of them were really game changing, and we really all used them because Blizzard were slow to fixing these issues. They really didn't care, so it became the norm to use them. I will cover minor things like the AI being wonky. I will cover stuff like farming methods. There were a lot of wrong things there, but that's about the core things I wanted to cover. So let's just get right to it. There's a lot to cover in this video. It's pretty much just gonna be like a rundown of the history of Diablo 3 and launch. I figure that's kind of how I'm setting up this video. So if you're kind of like into the history of Diablo as well, that's cool, because this is gonna be like kind of sort of video like that, because I can't really avoid it. Well, also since this is hard to get clips, I will also mention some research I did for finding all the bugs. I know a lot of them myself because again I used them. Also because I played very hardcore in Diablo 3 at launch, I was able to clear Inferno within a month, which was probably top 5% of the world or something only who played Diablo 3. It was very hard to clear Inferno back then on launch. It was very time demanding, skill demanding, and so forth. But without further ado, let's not make it any longer. Let's move on with the video. So we will start off light here with some auction house bugs. The first one is gonna be the big one. I found this one to be hilarious when we found out about it, and Blizzard was not really that fast to fix it. So a lot of streamers, etc., spread the rumor that you were suddenly able to cancel your auctions on the auction house in Diablo 3. Usually you are not really able to control that, which means that you are basically wasting time on auctions that weren't gonna sell for 2 days or whatever. This YouTuber here, Hot89, he also showed it in a rather popular video. Again, it's very hard to find clips because it's so old, and if you don't really do your research for a long time, you're not really gonna find clips. It's not easy.
And you go and change your Windows time. Click on change time and day or whatever, and then you set it up a few days back.
And that's the bug. Hilarious that a Windows or Mac whatever search query on your on your internal clock for your computer has a way to alter the auction house timer in Diablo 3, but it did, and that's how we were making a lot of gold for a few days or however long it was. I can't really remember. Canceling auctions, hilarious. And the other auction house bug I wanted to mention was, of course, duping. That was a major thing. A lot of people knew about this. Blizzard didn't really react. Nobody really seemed to care, which was a huge letdown because, of course, of the real money auction house, a lot of people could potentially dupe and sell items for hundreds of dollars. This is just a random clip from this YouTuber, as the RISP, however I mention it. You can just see it here.
Can you see that? Can you see that?
So this is a top manticore that is being duped, exact same stats, posted at about the same time, the same day, huge price, etc. Exactly the same stats, almost perfect roll. Pathetic that Blizzard never really, you know, it's not like it's Diablo 2 where dupes happens all the time or whatever. This was, yeah, a very big letdown, probably also why the auction house got discontinued, besides all the hate. And so this next part is going to be all about the wizard. I want to start off with the world's first Inferno Diablo kill. Obviously this is not hardcore, this is just the normal Inferno mode. This was done like, I think 3 to 4 days after launch, so people were obviously marathon playing it. But still, why did a wizard get the world's first and then even a Dane like myself? Well, as you can see here from the original, I think it's May 2019, 2012 thread. I did it, got capsule out, here you go, I'm shaking so badly, it was top fight, but when I did, died around 100 times before succeeding. 100 times, it was still very hard and all, and you know, 100 wipes in an RPG, that's unheard of, very hard. But yeah, this was a Dane that got the world's first Diablo Inferno kill. He also has a little YouTube channel that you can feel free to check out, not that he has done any content for 6 years or whatever. But yeah, enough with him. He was a Dane, he got the world's first. How did he do it? Force armor bug. Everyone used it, everyone knows about it. Yeah, it was just so prevalent that it was barely even fun. Basically, we wanted to stack, yeah, in this case here, this wizard here, you can see really crappy green items. Yeah, it's 30,000 damage or something. All the items have life and kill or regen. The life and kill I will get to, but the regen was very important. So we cannot get killed with force armor on, because we would only take 35% damage per hit. And if we were just stacking a lot of regen and only had 4,000 life, basically we were immortal. We could not die unless we were getting multiple hits, you know, a lot of smaller mobs all attacking us. So we're getting 4,000 hits every second for a lot of mobs. Yeah, you know, AoE situations. Bosses, it would be no problem kiting with force armor. And that's basically how we did it for the first, yeah, I think many months. Blizzard were definitely slow at fixing it. I think it was 2 months, definitely a month before Blizzard fixed this one. So yeah, we were just buying cheap items with regen on the auction house with intelligence on it, and then kiting bosses, and we could not die. Literally on bosses, it was so easy to survive. I would say that even a non-experienced player were able to do Inferno content with force armor. That was stupid. And the other part here, I want to show you a little clip now, actually played. Yeah, from this YouTube here, the Fury Elite. He basically just explains what hydra bug is, and I used this one for so long as well. I think this one was one of the longest running bugs in Diablo 3, and everyone used them. Notice his health now, and notice that he's getting attacked a lot from these carrion bats. So yeah, just watch this.
Just gonna tank him. And yeah, this is absolutely retarded. I really expect a buff is going to come soon.
And that's basically the bug. Every time you kill your own hydra by replacing it, you gain all the life back that you had from life and kill on gear. So if you were stacking, say, 2,000 life on kill, you were basically healing yourself for 2,000 every, well, 2 seconds, depending how fast you could spam your hydras to recast it, and so forth. So yeah, it was basically like having an instant heal. And that bug I used for so long, and I was so, yeah, oh my god, I could not do Inferno content without this bug, and every wizard utilized it. It was silly, as he also points out, that yeah, this was retarded. I wanted to end this part also with the invisible godlike mod bug, which wasn't really available for more than maybe 50 hours or so on Diablo 3 for the mainstream. But again, this is the problem. We don't know how long these bugs were known for. A lot of people, maybe they exploited them for a really long time, but just never really told about it. And then one dude, of course, has to go to like Reddit or whatever forum he likes to use and spread the news. So yeah, I can just show here. This is from Loco TV.
Godlike wizard bug in Diablo 3. you can see right here, I am fighting Belial. He's about to hit the enrage mode and I'm standing right into the poison.
So you can see he's taking a lot of damage and losing no life. How is he immortal? And we can just go a little forward in the video how he actually explains it. It's very simple. You need certain skills on your bars, which is fine enough even for a normal Archon build or whatever. It doesn't really ruin your gameplay. You can still play fairly effectively.
To actually execute this, you need to hold your mouse close to your own character, hit teleport, and then hit Archon about a split second later. This way you will actually be in a godlike mode. There's no way you can be killed and there's no way you can die in any shape or form because, well, there's just no way to die. You can't stand in poison, you won't be hit by enemies, and there's really nothing that can actually hit you in the game.
And that's it. That's pretty much the wizard box I wanted to cover. There are some other ones. There's a few target issues like Ray of Frost, the beam, and so forth. There was a few quirks early on, but they kind of fixed those fast enough. Honestly, this is just amazing. We had the world's first of Inferno Diablo kill done by bug. We had Immortaility. We had Force Armor that basically rendered all the other specs useless early on. Everyone were just buying regen with no life, intelligence gear on the auction house. Those were the only gear wizards wanted for a month in Diablo 3 or whatever. So that was stupid. The prices spiked crazily on those items until Blizzard fixed it. And then of course this bug with Hydra life and kill, which everyone used for so long. I think this was maybe 3 months more. Yeah, this was a long part, but again, I'm into wizards. I love wizards. That's the only thing I really play on Diablo 3, so I wanted to make this part long. And then for the next part here, talking a little about loot farming and stuff, I wanted to kind of mention how we are kind of getting around being efficient grinding. So everyone knows about like AFK spots where you had a lot of leech gear and there were some mechanics that killed mobs for you. You're basically just standing there killing mobs and returning to a computer every hour. But another thing a lot of people might not know about is the ways that we kind of grinded early on. We were finding few targets that were easily accessible, you know, fast to get to, and for some reason these mobs also had a really high drop chance. So in my case, I'm going here to the gateway to the Silver Spire. It was an area like this one where you were basically just walking up a stair from a waypoint, so it took like a minute to get there or something. Then when you entered, there would spawn like a boss here or something like that, some mini rare, and this rare is just farmed to death because it had a decent high drop chance. It was easy to kill. Remember, we really didn't have any gear back then. It was super hard to kill stuff. And and we basically just farming this stuff over and over again for really good drop chance, and it was easy even with no gear. And that's basically a bug, I would say. I mean, Blizzard should have fixed that and thought about it. You know, it's really hard to kind of know about player behavior in time and whatnot, but they could at least just have made sure that certain mobs that were easily spawned every game when you log into in a new game, a new fresh game, they would not have such a high drop chance that it would be worthwhile farming for the best loots in Diablo 3 at that time. And then of course, doing a video that is more in depth on Diablo 3, I also wanted to include Kripp. He really needs no introduction. The world's first, you know, popularized streamer, etc. of Blizzard games. He really hit the mainstream with Diablo 3 and stuff. Later on, kind of abandoning these games. But he basically explains a little bug here that I thought was always kind of curious and a little bit of fun. So just listen here.
It stems from the fact that in Diablo 3 there's a lot of buffs that are invisible, and whoever was coding this stuff decided to keep certain holes out of the game by making specific buffs invisible. So you can test this pretty easily. You can be like a witch doctor, for instance, with Gruesome Feast, and you can see that when you pick up a health globe, you know, you don't get any buffs. Well, I think charge works the same way. Like when you charge, you have a temporarily buff, like on next attack, it does something. And apparently cinematic, entering a cinematic when you charge didn't trigger like the end of the charge. So I think, you know.
And that's pretty much the bug. Pretty simple one. You know, there was a lot of quirks like that one. I just thought this was a good example. And it also gave me an excuse to include Kripp. I really missed the guy. Honestly, I used to religiously watch his videos every freaking week, day, whatever. But yeah, he moved on to, you know, I can't blame him. There's probably not a lot of money in doing Diablo content compared to Hearthstone. So yeah, shout out to this dude. Really miss him. Hope he returns for Diablo 4. And here at the end of the video, also just wanted to talk briefly about console. Console is of course a different thing. You can kind of mod it offline, cheat with it, whatever. But you know, you just have to Google Diablo 3 console box and you can probably get reading information for hours and hours and hours. I'm not gonna bore you with all this. Basically, Blizzard doesn't really care about the console box. I mean, come on, it's not really their main concern, and that's also why I think it's kind of silly for them to keep making you know, console games when they're not really focused on fixing the obvious game breaking bugs and so forth. And I could also just mention the same thing for Reaver's Souls. You know, there's been so many bugs. Certainly some of them have been straight up exploits that were not fixed on the PTR, but still it's much better than the original Diablo 3 when it launched. It had way worse bugs than Ares has ever had. But yeah, some of them have been tied to having Blizzard to wipe the ladder on rankings for the Greater Rifts many times. I think it's happened like 5 times in Ares, where Blizzard simply just said, yeah, we're just gonna wipe progress from these players and completely remove all their achievements, etc. There's always kind of like quirks and bugs happening for the last 2 or 3 years. Another YouTuber named Riker, he has covered a lot of that in the past, in good details, if you're kind of more interested in Reaver's Souls bug content, because yeah, it would be a long topic, because a lot of them are pretty technical and longer to explain. So that's it for the video, pretty much done. I think I covered most of the known bugs. If you have any for your class that I might missed out, or something you remember specifically, let me know in the comments. Could be fun to kind of, you know, get even more information from the comment sections. But that's yeah, that's a wrap. Also, I wanted to kind of mention, this is not a way to kind of bash Blizzard or anything. I thought about this video for legit for like a year or 2. I wanted to make this one, but I just felt like, would it make a good topic? I think now would make it a good topic, because again, Diablo 3 is getting some information about potential future games and so forth. And yeah, we also kind of know what happened at BlizzCon now and whatever. But yeah, it was a good time, and also in that case. But that's pretty much it. Don't want to make it that much longer. So thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a good one.